Today we're going to be talking all about the Gentle and Classical Preschool and all of the components that come with the program. I actually don't even have every single thing represented here, but I'm going to tell you all about it. Hi everyone, welcome to our homeschool table. My name is Jerilyn. I am a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, ages 11, 4, and 2. And here on my channel, I like to share all about homeschool related topics like curriculum, reviews, planning, and organization. So today I'm going to be sharing with you the Gentle and Classical Preschool program from the Gentle and Classical Press. And I have lots of the components of the program, not every single one though. So if you are interested in checking this program out, I will leave a link down below in the description box for you to check out the Gentle and Classical Press. I am an affiliate with the Gentle and Classical Press, so thank you in advance for using my affiliate links if you do decide to purchase something. So this program is geared towards ages 2 through 4, and I have a 2-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. So I thought it would be perfect to do with both of them. And my plan for the future is to do this again when my daughter's 4. So we'll just kind of see how that goes. But we have already been using this program for about 3 or 4 weeks. I think this is currently our 4th week. And we are really loving it so far, and it is just very sweet. So first, I just want to tell you a little bit about all of the components that come with it. And then I'll just talk to you a little bit about how we're using it in our homeschool. So I hope that you will go ahead and click that subscribe button down below and stick around. There are several different aspects that you can purchase from the Gentle and Classical Press. You can actually get the teacher's guide for free. Yes, that's right. Now, in my little booklet here, I actually have printed out only part of the teacher's manual because all I wanted to print were the weekly lesson pages. So I have a 1-page spread for each one of the units. But then at the back of my book, I also have what is called the Activity and Handicraft Guide. Now, again, I didn't print out the entire thing because they are really thick and meaty, and I read through all of the kind of preliminary information on my computer first before I printed this out. And so I knew that to do the day-by-day lessons, this would be all I needed printed in hand. But in the Activity and Handicraft Guide, that is where you get the fully detailed schedule of the program. So it tells you what Wonder Tale you're doing that week, plus it gives you a full grid of kind of the things that you should do each day. So that is why I decided to print out both the 1-page document and the full kind of schedule. So first I want to show you the books that I purchased to go along with this curriculum. The first one is called The Llama Who Had No Pajama, and there is a poem scheduled for each week of this program. It is a 26-week program because there are 26 letters of the alphabet, and so it focuses on 1 letter per week, but they are not in alphabetical order. They actually go off of the Handwriting Without Tears order of teaching handwriting. So just in case you wanted to know that little detail. The next book that I have is Big Thoughts for Little People, ABCs to Help You Grow. And then I also have the Big Truths for Little Kids, and this is teaching your children to live for God, and this is where you get the catechism questions. One of the books that I don't have here is the Mother Goose Rhymes book. I'll put a picture of the one that they recommend to get, but I just decided that that was not one that was high on my priority list for right now, and so I went ahead and skipped that one. For the math component of this program, they recommend using Preschool Math at Home by Kate Snow. This might be a familiar name to you if you have heard of the Math with Confidence program, because this was actually the first book that she wrote, Preschool Math at Home, and then she started creating the Math with Confidence series. So that is the same author. And this is more or less just kind of a guide in how to help your children learn to count, have number recognition, subitizing skills, one-to-one correspondence, and things like that. So this is a really good book, and I highly recommend this. But now let's go ahead and look at the teacher's guide, the one-page spread, and all of the things that are on here. And then I will show you the memory statement cards that go along with that. Now, if you get the full printable bundle, there would be a lot of cards. It would probably be like 3 times more than this, because I actually used the PDF version, and so I printed this out on 90-pound cardstock on my Epson EcoTank printer, and then I laminated them. And they actually don't necessarily recommend laminating them, but because I knew that we had a 2-year-old and sticky fingers all the time, I just decided that I wanted to keep them nice and wipeable, so I went ahead and laminated them, but you definitely don't have to do that. So here on a typical weekly spread, which we're on unit 2 right now, and we are actually doing 1 unit over 2 weeks because we are starting it now, and then we're going to go all the way through the year. So I just figure if I'm trying to do 26 units, I would have about 52 weeks, and that would take us through at least the beginning of next summer, if not a little bit farther into summer, and then we'll move on to our next thing probably in August or September. So Unit 2 is all about the story of Ferdinand, and we actually just returned that book because we had it here at home. We're just getting these books from the library. So instead of purchasing another 26 books, as much as I would love that, I already had a few of them, and so I decided that the rest of them I would just pick up from the library. So on the little weekly schedule here, you'll see that there's a nursery rhyme, a manners and hygiene statement, something for math, the preschool morning binder. Now this is something that I haven't used, at least not yet, mainly because my son isn't really that into like writing, or he's a little bit into Play-Doh and things like that, but he doesn't really want to do a lot of book work yet. So I'm just skipping the preschool morning binder for now. I'm sure we might add it on later on in the school year, or maybe the next year in kindergarten or something like that. Then there's a little section down here for Peter and the Wolf. They alternate between Peter and the Wolf doing kind of a composer music study, and then also some artist study, and I'll show you about that. There's also a section for motor skills, all about me, catechism, character, and scripture. So then down here at the bottom, this little section is for 3 to 4-year-olds, for the older kids. So that's when they recommend the Big Truths for Little Kids book with the catechism, and Big Thoughts for Little People. This is actually an ABC book, so each letter that you're working on kind of corresponds with this book. And then there's a poem. So the poetry is for your older students, as well as the handicraft guide. Now, there are some projects here in the handicraft guide that you can do, kind of just fun hands-on projects that go along with the theme, and you can take it or leave it. I will probably be doing some of them, but not all of them. So let me just show you the memory statement cards, because this is what really drew me to the program. So this is the letter of the week. So it has a big E there. That's our third one for E. And so it would tell you the name of the story and have some sort of corresponding picture that goes along with the story. And then down here, it tells you the poetry and the name of the poem from the Llama Who Had No Pajama book, and the page number that it's on, which is really helpful when I'm sitting over at my fireplace couch to do these actual lessons. It's helpful because they just tell me exactly what to do. So there is one of these for every single unit. So you would have 26 of these cards. Then you would have 26 of these nursery rhyme cards. So we did Ring Around the Rosie this week and last week. And then the weeks before that for unit 1 was Rain, Rain, Go Away. And it's just so cute because the nursery rhymes are just so fun. And it's nice because my son sees them and the pictures that go along with them, because they're always very cute. And he will just start saying them. which is really, really fun. So we have one of these for every single unit. And like I said, if I haven't mentioned this already, I have only printed out the first 9 weeks. They separate this into a 9-week term. The second term is 9 weeks, and then the last term is 8 weeks, and that makes 26 altogether. So that was the nursery rhyme cards. Then we have the manners and hygiene cards. So we've been doing, like this one says, I can do hard things. And then it gives you kind of a little poem about that. I work together with my family. I am gentle with small things. I share with others. So just really good little statements to kind of to just have for you as the parent to remind your kids in these situations of how they should be acting or what they should be doing. Just great ideas to think about. So that was the manners and hygiene. Then the math cards, they have numbers 1 through 5 for the first several units. And then they're also working on a color or 2. So that's what the math cards look like. And then after a few units, then you switch to 1 through 10, and that corresponds right with the preschool math at home lessons. So those are really cute. My son really likes to do the math ones. This one I wasn't originally going to use, but I decided to go ahead and print them out and use them. But these are the All About Me cards. So the first one had my son, it said my name is, and then he would fill it in with his name. And then it had my mommy is, and now my daddy is, my family. And so it just goes through lots of different things. My state, my city, my address, my phone number. And then it actually goes into kind of 5 senses and about your body. So the next ones that I print out will be a little bit more about body parts and the different systems in your body, things like that. And there are some books that they recommend to go along with that part that I will probably get from the library as well. Then there are catechism and character statements. So there's a catechism and character card for every 2 units. So you use this one for 2 weeks, and then you would move on to the next one. And the thing that's really great about this curriculum is that if you can see at the very bottom of the card in light gray, it tells you exactly what type of card that is. And then on the other side, exactly which units it goes with. So it's very easy to organize. And if something just falls out all over your floor, you know that you don't have to worry about figuring out what goes where. You can just get them all back in order quickly, which I love. And then the last one, and one of my favorites, is the scripture card. Now the scripture cards are good for 3 lessons or 3 units. And so they actually correspond with the songs for saplings, and you can get that on YouTube. And there's a song for sapling for every alphabet letter, but this just focuses on 1 every 3 lessons. So it doesn't correspond with the letter of the week necessarily, although I suppose you could do it that way. But the songs, it'll tell you like this one is V for very, and so you would just go to that song on the playlist and play that song. So we've had the scripture memory already memorized since probably the first or second week that we've been doing this, because they're just short and catchy and very helpful. So the way that I decided to organize the cards is to have them in one of these little mesh zipper pouches that I got off of Amazon. And these are pretty inexpensive. I got like a pack of 20, but these fit really nicely in here. And you can actually fit a full 8.5 by 11 piece of paper in here. If you've laminated it like I did these cards, these don't fit quite as well. I don't think you can zip the actual thing. Yeah, it's just a tiny bit taller. But if you aren't using a laminated version, a full sheet of paper would fit in these. But this is kind of a nice way to store them. And once I print the rest of these cards, I will need more of these zipper pouches, because it kind of seems like if I add 3 times more than this, it's going to be way too fat to fit. So I might just split these up over a couple different bags, and that's okay. So the next thing that I want to show you is the Peter and the Wolf materials. So this would come in the, what do they call it? The art and music pack, which if you get the full bundle, it's already included. But if you want, there are different ways that you can purchase all of this. And one of the things that you can get kind of by itself is the art and music pack. And so that's what this is. So Peter and the Wolf, she gives recommendations in the guide to some YouTube videos that you could use to do this. And it is split up over the course of the term or the year. So you would just be doing a little bit of the song each time. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it yet. We actually haven't introduced this yet. I will be doing that probably next week. So I can always update you on that. But the in the art and music pack, it comes with these 3 little story boards. So there's the house and the pond and the forest. And then it comes with these really cute little character pieces. So there's the birds and the ducks. I've laminated these and cut them out. I used cardstock. There's the cat, 90-pound cardstock, the wolf, and I actually realized today when I took all this out, I forgot to cut these apart and laminate them, so I'm going to need to do that. These are the characters, obviously. And then you also get a little pack of the instrument cards. So these, each of the characters in the story is played by a different instrument, and so while that instrument is playing, you could have your child hold that instrument up along with the character piece or something like that. They give you lots of ideas in the teacher's manual. And then for the art part, there are 3 artists. The first one that we're doing is Van Gogh. And so I actually, we've actually done Van Gogh before in our homeschool, but it's been a little while. So I'm having my daughter, my older daughter, who is going into 6th grade next year, actually kind of do this with us. And it's just as well for her as it is for the little kids. But in the program, you get access to art prints from this artist. Starry Night, obviously, sunflowers, just lots of great prints. And I haven't laminated these at this point. I'm not sure if I'm going to, because with art prints, I really like that flat finish, but I also don't want them to get ruined. And I tried a matte laminating pouch, and I did not care for the way that it turned out at all, not with these art prints, but with some other ones that I did. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to laminate those or not. I'll keep you posted. But now that I've kind of shown you all of those pieces, let's talk about how I'm putting it up in my school space. So a lot of people actually use what they call a memory statement board to put all their memory statement cards up. But instead, I decided to use my fireplace area because, sorry if it's going to get shaky, the outside of my fireplace has metal, and so it's magnetic. And so I just decided to go ahead and put up the memory statement cards on the magnets. And then, of course, we have our calendar here and our months of the year poster. So we kind of do all of this stuff at the same time, and my little kids really like it. Sometimes we do it before nap time, and sometimes we do it as part of our morning time. But this is kind of how I have ours set up. It's very easy to change out, and I didn't really have anywhere else to put like a full memory statement board on the wall. So that's why I did this. I'm not sure if it's going to stay like this forever, but it's working for now. And it's right off of our homeschool area. So here's my dining room where I normally am. This is where we eat. This is where we do school. This is where we sit and read books at the couch. And then, of course, over here is our memory statement area. Well, I hope that was helpful for you to see a little bit about the Gentle+Classical Preschool. Definitely check out their website if you're interested in learning more about this program and all of the different parts that are offered. Like I said, there were a few things that I don't have printed out because we aren't using them at this point. Not to say that we won't ever, but there are lots of parts that you can just get if there's something very specific that you want. She has it broken down into, like, you can get just the character cards or you can get just the math cards. And so that way is very inexpensive, but if you buy the whole bundle, it's way cheaper, obviously. And as far as getting a print version of this program, you do have to order a full bundle for that. You can't just order like one set of cards and just those little cards show up. So if you don't have access to a really good like EcoTank style printer, then you would probably want to order the physical copy. Also, if you just don't enjoy doing all the copying and things like that. But if you do have a good printer and you don't mind doing a little bit of work to print everything out and organize it and laminate it if you want to, then by all means go ahead and get the digital version. And either way, you're going to get a really good quality product. I have been working with the Gentle+Classical Press for the last couple of months, and they are extremely sweet people, and they are very responsive and get back to you quickly if you have a problem or if you have a question about something. Erin and her team are just really excellent at what they do, and they provide such beautiful programs. I've looked through several of the other programs that they offer, the higher levels. So there's primer, and then there's Sequence 1 and agricultural science. One thing that we're using from the company for next year for my older daughter are the On Mission magazines, and I'm really excited about those. So if you haven't already seen my video about that, I'll link that up above for you. But those magazines are gorgeous, and I'm really excited to use them as well. So if you have any questions or comments about the Gentle+Classical Press or the preschool level specifically, go ahead and leave those down below for me in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them. I would also really love to know if you have used this program or any of the other programs from the company, and if you have any tips on how to schedule things or organize the materials or anything like that. I am all ears because I am always looking for ways to do things better here. Go ahead and click that subscribe button down below and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And if you don't have anything specific that you wanted to say today, go ahead and leave me some sort of a book emoji or a smiley face of some sort, something silly, to let me know that you're still here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today at our homeschool table, and we'll see you next time.